Another brick fan here with a look at a Star Wars set. This is Major Vonreg's TIE Fighter. This is set 75240, was released in April 2019, has 496 pieces, 4 minifigures, and cost about $70 when it was released. This ship is based on Star Wars Resistance, and Major Vonreg is an elite pilot who reports to Captain Phasma. We'll take a look at the minifigures in a few minutes, but let's take a look at the main build. The main build of this ship is in the more New Order style TIE fighters with the sloped wings instead of the more straight looking side panels for the TIE fighter. Unlike other TIE fighter models that I built, these actually have fixed curves here. These are usually done on hinges so that you can, like a friction hinge or something, but in this case it's just this angled Technic piece here to hold the wings in place. There are some of these small rounded 1x1s with a post there to represent some lasers, and then there are some spring shooters down here. The cockpit has this printed piece on top, of course opens up like most TIE fighters, then the printed glass here. And then our control stick here is made out of a robot body, which is kind of cool. The communications antenna here. Looking on the sides, there is another printed piece here on the side with a little bit of greebling here. Good use of the black and red coloring. The back has a little bit of detailing with some slope pieces and a couple of tiles here to add for a little texturing. If you notice, this little tiny piece right here is done with some cone pieces on some Technic pins. And if you look, you'll see just barely make out the missiles for the spring-loaded shooter. So moving this from side to side fires your spring-loaded shooters, which is nice. They can also be fired by just touching them on the bottom. Overall, a nice look for a TIE fighter. I think there's a lot of good detailing and some really nice build techniques here. There is a lot of Technic that you can see on the sides here to connect up all of that connect the wings of the TIE fighter. And like I said, they are in that fixed position, which is unusual for the TIE fighter builds, at least the ones I've done in the past. A pretty good looking model overall. Now let's take a look at the minifigures individually. As I mentioned in the opening, this comes with 4 minifigures. This includes Major Vonreg, General Leia, Kaz Zono, and Bucket, which is an R1J6 astromech droid. First, we have Major Vonreg and Bucket, who is our astromech. Major Vonreg is done in the same black and red uniform that matches with his TIE fighter. He has this great elongated helmet piece, which I think is really nice. Good printing on his torso here with a belt, and then the printing, I think, works pretty well down his legs. Bucket is a new look for an astromech droid. So it has this 2x2 rounded brick here as his main body with some good printing here on the front. Standard astromech droid legs with the Technic pins that clip into it. He does have this third leg, which is just a 1x1 with a clip and then connected to one of these clear, what I would call accessory attachment pieces to represent his third leg. So then he just comes and connects there. That just stands in the middle. It is offset, so it doesn't actually sit on the ground. So apparently it's folded up under him. He is wearing this helmet, which is looks like a standard Rebel helmet to me that you see from a lot of the Rebel pilots and gunners and things from the various vehicles. And then he has a printed 1x1 cone piece or 1x1 cylinder piece for his head. Major Vonreg does not have any expression. It's just this plain black minifigure head, so he is certainly designed just to wear the helmet. He does come with this small pistol blaster. Moving around these figures, you see there's no side printing on Major Vonreg, and you get a better look at those astromech droid legs there. It is nice to see some additional detailing with this black, and these two black pieces are kind of attached to the helmet. So it is two different colors of plastic, or dual molded. He does have some good printing on the back here with some, analysis gear and the rest of his belt, which is all part of his uniform. So nice to see another style of astromech droid, as well as this really nice helmet for Major Vonreg. Let's take a look at the next two figures. Up next we have General Leia and Kaz Zeno. Kaz Zeno is a pilot and one of Leia's spies in Star Wars Rebels. I like the outfit that they chose for Leia. Leia's got this newer hairpiece that they released when the third trilogy came out. She looks good, I think, in this sand green legs and the sand green arms with a purple vest over the top. And then she's, of course, got a belt underneath that vest, so I think that all looks very good. Kaz here is wearing a bright green vest, it looks like, over a darker green or forest green type shirt, which would be indicated by his arms there. I think the gray pants go pretty well with that, and there's some good printing of the pockets and the belt there on that piece. Looks like his hair piece is dual molded. You can see he's got the black hair on top and then kind of a nougat or brownish color here underneath. They both come with blaster pistols. No side printing, but I do like how the braids go around on this hair piece for General Leia. Then just a little bit of sculpting on the back and just a little bit of printing there, as you can see. I do really like how they did this dual molded hair piece. I think it looks really good. So both have nice hair pieces. And you see Leia's alternate expression here, as well as Kaz's alternate expression. So there we have all the minifigures that come with this set. Let's go back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Overall, my impression of this set is pretty good. I think this makes a nice display model. It's also a very strong model. The model is strong enough that you can pick it up and be played with, and it's very easy to fly around and pretend that you're flying Major Vonreg's TIE Fighter. I haven't watched the Rebels series, so I don't know too much about the lore. From what I understand is Major Vonreg is an ace pilot, so he has a very high-tech TIE Fighter. The astromech droid R1J6, who we showed a few minutes ago, is a newer droid. I think it's interesting that he has that Rebel helmet, and then he has a smaller, different kind of headpiece, which is just a 1x1, as we showed when we looked at him earlier. I think it's a good selection of figures, a couple of the main characters from the series in Kaz, and of course the iconic General Leia. As far as value goes, I always expect these Star Wars sets to be a little more expensive. In this case, we have approximately 500 pieces and 4 minifigures, so your price to piece ratio is high, which I expect from Star Wars sets. I think because of the licensing, it's a little bit on the high side, which I think a lot of the recent Star Wars sets have been a little bit on the high side. It might have been nice to get another character from the Resistance in another minifigure, or maybe have this at a $60 set. Of course, $50 would put it right around that 10 cent per piece, which a lot of people think is the standard for value in Lego. Me personally, that price per piece is not a huge indicator, but certainly a nice starting point for when you start talking about value. Obviously the price per piece here, I think a $60 set is about the right price for this. I hope you've enjoyed my thoughts on this Star Wars set. I'm going to get get started on my next video. Until then, happy building. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content. If you'd like to see more Star Wars reviews, my Star Wars playlist is up here on the screen.